Hi, I'm Caitlin Kendall, and this is my summary of learning for EdTech 300. Before taking this class, I only used the internet for Google and for social media for my own personal use, from posting photos on Instagram, wishing people happy birthday on Facebook, and sharing relatable memes on Twitter, but I never used it for anything educational. I wasn't really interested in technology very much. I found it too frustrating to learn. I had no time for it. It distracted me from my own real life, and it was just essentially a waste of my time sometimes. I was very skeptical taking this class, but someone I knew recommended it, and it seemed like it could be a valuable class to take with lots of good information to help me in my teaching career. So day one was my first Zoom class ever, and I was very stressed. I get nervous FaceTiming my friends sometimes, let alone 30 strangers. I quickly realized that everyone was extremely friendly and supportive. There were many new tools that were going to be central to our learning this course that we learned about on day one. The first one was Twitter. It's the only app that I actually had used before, but just for my own personal use. I had no idea about how it could be used to share educational resources and network with other professionals in your field. Over this course, using Twitter daily, I learned just how valuable of a tool it can be for these purposes, and I definitely see Twitter in a brand new way. The next tool that we learned about was Slack. I'd never heard of it before, and it was definitely a learning curve to not be using your courses for an online course. I learned that it's another great resource to help a class stay organized and share everything that you need to know about a class. Day two is all about blogging. We posted introductions to Padlet, which is another great sharing tool, and then we learned all about how to make our own blog and the value of having one. I definitely never thought that I would be a blogger, and it was a major learning curve for me as I was starting from scratch and had no idea what I was doing. But after learning all about e-portfolios, replacing resumes, and the importance of developing a good digital identity and a positive online presence, I realized just how valuable creating an e-portfolio through my blog would be for me, especially in my teaching career. It was about at this point that I realized that I was really going to have to dive right into this class. There were so many resources and information being shared every day, and we were required to be tweeting 2 times per day, blogging 3 times a week, taking the 2 classes a week, all while learning an entirely new project to demonstrate how we could use solely online sources to learn just about anything. I was about to be more active online than I had ever been before, and I had no choice but to be fully involved and open to learning and utilizing all the new resources that I was learning. For day 3, we attended Alec Caro's Zoom class, and we learned about tons of different online resources for teaching. I couldn't believe how many different options there were. This was an entirely new world for me. We discovered tools to use in the classroom for just about anything, including formative assessment and polling, communication and discussion tools, presentation tools, information organization and searching, other creative tools, and other learning tools as well. I learned that implementing online tools in the classroom can really enhance students' learning. On day 4, we were introduced to Feedly, which was sort of a hub for tons of educational resources being shared every single day, and it gave me a great place to find valuable resources that I could share on Twitter. We also learned all about the value of creating your own PLN, or personal learning network, and how networking with similar professionals online can enlighten your knowledge in a way that I never knew was possible. We put this notion to use on day 5 when we had our first Twitter chat, and it completely blew me away that such amazing networking resources even existed. I had no idea. Here, I gained many new followers and people to follow and interact with, and an understanding of just how much I have to learn. It's a lot. We also went over tons of browser extensions and tools which I had never, ever attempted to use before. On day 6, we covered our digital world and the participatory culture that surrounds us. I was beginning to learn that the best way to deal with our increasingly digital-based world was to involve yourself in it completely and take away from it and also contribute to it as much as you could, because there's so much out there to discover and share. On day 7 and 8, we learned about the SAMR model to integrating technology into the classroom. It outlined the progression from substitution to augmentation to redefinition. We also began learning about digital citizenship and how important it is to remember that basic human morals, values, and understandings also apply to the web, and also how important it is to be actively aware of the dangers of the web. On day 9, we learned about social media and social activism and the amazing ability that it has in giving a voice to those who have never been able to have been heard or understood before. Day 10 was all about digital identity and how important it is to create a positive online presence for yourself. We were tasked to cyber sleuth a fellow classmate, and this assignment really changed my perspective on my personal social media use. I had always been pretty cautious of what I posted online and aware of the potential dangers of not being careful about it, but I had never truly understood just how important it is for me and my future to present myself online in a way that I want to be seen, that shows exactly who I am and what I stand for at all times. On day 11, we learned all about digital literacy and how to scope out fake news and the dangers of falling into it and not being a critical consumer of information at all times, as well as the importance of teaching this lesson to our students. We got many great resources in order to do this as well. And finally, on day 12, we learned all about coding and tried it out for ourselves. I have a post up on my blog all about my experience doing this, as well as other posts about my opinion on many of the other concepts that I mentioned here and resources that I found. After taking EdTech 300, my view of technology and the online world has completely shifted. I've gained more valuable resources for my teaching career than I could have even imagined, and I have a whole new appreciation for the internet and what it has to offer to education. I feel as though I've been enlightened to the shift in the world and within myself from what we can take away from the internet to what we can contribute to it. I've always been concerned for social justice, and this class has taught me about how incredible social media can be in achieving this. I believe that education is the first step to making positive change in this world, and technology can assist us in doing this like never before. Hi, I'm Caitlin Kendall, and this is my summary of learning.